Hello, my name is Eric Graham. I'm making a series of videos because recently I experienced an injury that a lot of people have experienced. I ruptured my Achilles. As you can see, I'm in a cast right now. um, I'm making these videos because after a lot of research, I realized that not a lot of people take the non-op route, and I decided to go the non-op route. Kind of because of recommendation from my surgeon, but I trust him and I think that he knows what he's talking about. And so I decided to go the non-op route, and I just wanted to make a video series based on my recovery with that decision. Seems like a lot of the videos I've seen are mostly about people who've gone the operation route. They ruptured their Achilles and then immediately did the surgery, and their recovery is kind of based on that. I saw I think one person or two people that did the non-op route, and you know, I think one was in Australia and one was, and I'm not sure, but I don't think he was uh, an athlete or active like how I am. So it was kind of I was nervous about going the non-op route, but it seems like every other active person was going the operation route. Um, but I'm committed to the non-op route, and I'm gonna record it, and so that people can see how my journey goes on the non-op route, and can make decisions based on my journey and other people's journey on what they want to do. So my story starts at the gym playing basketball. I was just playing a regular game of pickup, and I went for a loose ball. Nothing crazy. It wasn't going and dunking over anyone. I literally just lunged to go for a loose ball and felt like someone kicked me in the back of the foot, and immediately I went down. And I looked behind me, and I mean, you probably heard the story a million times. No one was there, and I recalled hearing Kobe talk about how that Achilles injury felt, and I immediately knew that, oh, I tore my Achilles. Um, at the time, I think with one of the guys at the gym, I said it, and he was like, "Oh, let's do a test." And I mean, by the time I stood up and I tried to walk, and it just like didn't work. But one of the guys at the gym was like, "Hey, we can do a test." I forget what it's called. It's like a flex thing where you squeeze the calf and your foot moves, and we did that, and it didn't work. And I was like, oh. So, so I pretty much knew right when I got up that I tore my Achilles, and I kind of limped over to the wall. Obviously, I think somebody jumped in from my spot in the game, and I just kind of sat there, kind of in disbelief, like, oh man, what now? And it was like this weird thing where I was like, I, I kind of ignored it, just enjoyed, watching the rest of the game or whatever. But I knew I couldn't drive, so I immediately uh, called my girlfriend. Actually, no, I texted her. I texted my girlfriend, said, "Hey, I got injured at the gym. You're gonna have to drive me to the emergency room," which is something that a lot of people don't do. Like most of the stories I hear, they rupture their Achilles and then go home. I I don't know. For me, I was like, I got to go to the emergency room because I don't know this injury. I don't know if I leave it for a night, will it make it so recover? So I immediately went to the emergency room. My surgeon said that was a great. It was good that I did that. Um, so I went to the emergency room. They immediately got me into a splint. Um, it, One of those kind of quick little splints they do, and I went home, and they told me to keep my foot pointed downwards, or they splinted my foot downwards. So this is my leg. My foot was facing downwards, not like that to relieve that pressure on that Achilles rupture, kind of compress it. Um, and so, surprisingly, there was not a lot of pain. When it first happened, there was no pain. I really didn't. I was on the ground, and I was like, if I ruptured my Achilles, I feel like there should be some pain, but there wasn't. It was like I kept describing it as a 2 out of 10. Um, and that was kind of where it stayed until I got the splint on, got home, and it started to swell. And that's kind of where a lot of the discomfort came in, um, uh, and a little bit of pain. I think my pain through the whole beginning processes maxed out at about a 6, and that was just from the swelling and yeah, I think it was just swelling that created that discomfort. Um, but so I stayed in the splint for about a week. When I went into the emergency room, we'd scheduled a time when I was going to meet with my surgeon, um, and that was from I think a week from that day. So I injured myself beginning of May 3rd, I believe. Let me check my phone. Yeah, so I ruptured my Achilles on May 3rd, and then I met with my surgeon uh, 6 days later on May 8th. And at the same time I went with a surgeon, I also got a cast. And it was also when I decided that I was going to go non-op. And it was, my surgeon, he came in, and I'm in a splint, or at this point I'm out of the splint, and he told me to, basically, he checked out the rupture and immediately said, I don't think it's going to need surgery. And I thought, that's weird, because everyone gets surgery. Everyone that I saw, all my research led me to believe that I was going to need surgery. And he immediately said, I don't think it's going to need surgery. Now, I asked him why. Why do you think it doesn't need surgery? And he said because the placement of the tear, he thinks it's going to heal nicely. Now, in all of my research, which is not much, but in the research I did, I never found anything about placement of tear and how that can affect your recovery. But my surgeon described it. He said that my rupture was high up on the leg, so it wasn't. So you have your main Achilles, right? That part that you can kind of pinch, right? And that stretches all the way up to your calf. And I guess where my Achilles rupture was closer to the calf, where there's a lot of muscle and tissue. And because of that, my doctor said that I should be it should heal faster and easier than had it torn lower on my Achilles tendon. And that made sense to me at the time. But after the casting, I went home, and I continued to do research. Like, not really research, just looking up stuff, looking up research. And I could not find anything about placement of the tear, right, and how that affects your recovery. So I started to kind of freak out internally, and I thought, maybe I don't know, I started to kind of doubt my surgeon, like what if he's just like trying to get out of a surgery, and he's messing with me, or I don't know. After a while, I kind of just stopped having doubts, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go the non-op route. I'm committing to it, and that's it. But the last night I stopped doing research, and this was the reason I stopped doing research. I found these two surgeons talking about Achilles injuries and recovery and all that, and they finally brought up how the placement of the Achilles injury actually does have a effect on recovery. And it was such a fast conversation. It was like 2 seconds of their whole. They had like a podcast thing going on. It was like 2 seconds of their podcast where they mentioned it and then moved on. And I don't know. It just I was like, that's it. Okay, it doesn't. But they didn't really go into it. They just said if it's higher up, it heals faster. It's like a pat on the back, or if it's lower, it's more likely that you'll have to have surgery. So 2 seconds they said it, but I couldn't find anything else on it. I couldn't find anything in writing. Just these two guys talking in a podcast. But for anyone wondering, anyone going through the same experience I'm going to, if you have a high Achilles rupture, it's like a pat on the back. You got lucky, and it's better that it ruptured higher up than lower. So moving on. So I got the cast. I went home. Like I said, I did some more research. After a while, after the doubt, after all that, I said, forget research. I'm just gonna commit to this. I'm gonna commit to this non-op and just stop racking my brain, because research was kind of driving me crazy. Not gonna lie. So I said I committed to this non-op, and that was it. So the reason I'm really making this video is because tomorrow I get my cast off. Now I've been in this cast for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. Let me see. I got the cast on Monday. So yeah, I got the cast on Monday, May 8th. And now I'm getting a cast off tomorrow, May 24th. So about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. I've been in this cast, and I wanted to start this journey, or this video making, because I didn't want to get too far into the process of recovery and not have anything documented. So I've already missed one phase, the splint to the cast, and now I'm in the cast, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow. It kind of sucks. So on May 8th, when I went in, me and my girlfriend were there, but we heard two different things, and we didn't realize we heard two different things until we were at home. And I heard, in 2 weeks we're going to take off the cast and put you in a boot. She heard in 2 weeks we're going to take off your old cast, put you in a new cast. And so, I haven't messaged my doctor or anything. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. If they put me in another cast tomorrow, whatever. If they put me in a boot tomorrow, whatever. I'm kind of in the same situation no matter what. I can't walk. I can't move. So anyway, tomorrow I get assessed, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that, you're always hoping something miraculous happens. You go in and they say, wow, you're fully healed. You can just take off the cast and you can start walking again. But obviously it's not going to happen. But this is the beginning of my recovery. It's been about a month. No, sorry, it's been about 3 weeks since I ruptured my Achilles. It feels like it's been about a year, but that's okay. Just taking it one day at a time. And it's all you can do. So really revel in moving forward, and just one day at a time.